Hello there. Today we're going to build a clock and use it to practice telling time. Here you'll see that this project has sprites that are numbers going around the clock, and there's a minute hand and an hour hand. Now these hands don't move at the same speed as hours and minutes in real life, or else it would take a really long time for us to practice time. So what we're going to do today is we're going to put the code blocks in to make the clock work, and then we'll practice telling time. So I'm starting at sprite 2. Sprite 2 is the longer minute hand, and sprite 2 is going to go around the clock. I want everything to start when I click on the green flag. So I'm selecting green flag, and after I do that, I want to turn 1 degree at a time, just like the minute hand turns 1 minute at a time. Okay, now when this hand is turning, I need it to repeat. Do you know how many times it should repeat when it's going around a circle? What we have to think about is how many degrees does a circle have? Does anyone know? If you knew that it was 360 degrees, good job. I'm going to put that up here, and with coding, we always want to check and see what happens. Notice that my hands are not at the top of the clock yet. I want them to start at the top of the clock. To do that, I'm going to grab another event block, which is also called a hat block. It has a curve at the top so that we can't put anything above it. This is the first piece of code that makes my whole script or program work. So when I click on the space bar, I would like the hand of the clock to point up. Can you see which one will allow it to point up? Good, 0 degrees. I'm going to try that now. Okay. So now, let's watch that hand turning. Okay. Cool. That seemed to work just fine. Now I'm going to sprite 1. And this hand, I want it to turn faster. So how can I make it turn faster? I'm going to start with the green flag clicked. I'm going to have it turn as well. If I turn 1 degree, I move slower. If I want to move quicker, I have to turn more than 1 degree at a time. To do that, I can change how fast I turn here. I'm going to turn 6 degrees each time. And if I do this 60 times, this will take me around the clock face once. Let's try that now. Wait, what am I missing? I don't have the hand pointing at the top. I'm going to go back to sprite 2, clicking on sprite 2 down here, and I'm going to drag over this code that I already made. And I'm going to drop it into sprite 1. When I click on sprite 1, I can see that it's been brought over. So now I'm going to press the space key. And now I'm going to test out my clock. Wow, that was cool. Only problem is, the hand stopped after it went around once. What if I want it to go around more than once? Could I have it repeat going around once, more times? What if I wanted to do it 30 times? Now it's doing it too many times. What would be the right number to make it go around the clock once? I would like you to experiment and try that. Let's pause the video now and try to see if you can get it to go around the clock just enough to make the smaller hand go around once as well. Okay. Now, Last thing I would like you to do is I would like you to make your clock go a little bit slower. To do that, we're going to bring in a wait block, put the wait block in, have it wait 0.5 of a second. Let's see what that does. Click away from the number and then press the green flag. That looks kind of cool, doesn't it? But I think the smaller hand's going too fast. What could I do for the smaller hand? Let's put a wait block in there too. What if I waited a full second? What do you think would happen? Does that look more like a real clock now? Awesome job. Now you have a working clock. Practice telling time with your clock by letting your teacher tell you a time that she would like you or he would like you to stop the clock on. For example, I could tell my class, when the clock reaches 12:45, press the stop. 12:45. Awesome. And start the clock again. Maybe now I want someone to tell me when it's 1:15. You ready? We're going to stop the clock at 1:15. Good. Now, if you find it's moving too slow, you could change this to half a second. Go back to sprite 1. Instead of half a second, make it a quarter of a second, which is 0.25. Let's see what that looks like. Click outside of the number box and press the green flag. Is that going a bit faster now? If that's still too slow and you want it to go faster than that, you can speed it up accordingly. You can play with these numbers to see how fast you want to make your clock turn. Thank you and happy coding.